really important concept I really want you guys to think about. So often people get into a business and they start it, and their idea is because they see, and actually Corey and I were talking about this before we started today, that people think that entrepreneurship is glamorous, like you're driving Lamborghinis and you live by the beach and all that stuff. And for some it is, obviously, I guess, but for most of us, it's a grind, and it takes a long time to build our companies up to a place where we can have money to do other things. We're just really just trying to just keep the lights on and take care of our families. So, but one thing I found though is that with a combination of proper planning, and so that you're setting yourself up for success, and also access to capital, that is a huge part as well. And choosing the right business model, choosing the right products to sell, those things I found play, and of course how the market need, those things play a major part. In fact, those are probably the biggest things that play a part in how fast your business grows and what kind of lifestyle you lead. And so, here's what I mean. And I know this may look kind of complicated. It's the first time you're seeing it, but let me just explain what you're looking at here. So for those who can't see it for some reason, if you're not able to see it, we have here, we have 5 scenarios, okay? These little red vertical lines, they break up the scenarios. You can see here, each of these scenarios has a circle that says you. You scenario 1, you scenario 2, you scenario 3, you scenario 4, you scenario 5. So the green, and so in each of these circles, these represent people. They may be employees, they may be 1099s, part-time, full-time, however your business is set up, they represent people. And so the green, this is profit made from your team's efforts or your direct efforts. And then the blue is business expenses, okay? The red, so you see this red line across the middle of the page, that's the line that says, okay, above this line, you're not involved as much in the day-to-day operations of your business. Below this line, you are involved in the day-to-day operations of your business. So let me explain what this means. So in scenario 1, as you can see here, this person's business, and it may look familiar to some of you, this is a one-person operation, okay? As you can see, their circle's mostly blue. Well, why would that be? They're not making any profit? Well, and there's a little bit of green on the top, but see, they haven't been looking at their cash flow projections. They haven't been to this class. They don't know that they should be putting in pricing that allows them to make some money. See, all their money that they're charging on the cupcakes they make, or the cannolis that they make, or the services they offer, or the products they offer to customers, all the money goes into essentially the expenses, just keeping it going. So let's say if it's a cupcake, they know that the basic expenses are the ingredients. They know that, and that's included in the price because they know that part. And then they have to have some money that's left over after that to buy more ingredients for tomorrow's cupcakes. But if they didn't take into account that they need to make a profit, they need to pay people, that they need, pay themselves, that maybe they should price their cupcakes so they can actually have someone else cook the cupcakes, or price the cupcakes so that someone else can do the marketing. See, they didn't know about that. So all of their efforts, this one person's efforts, their efforts all go to business expenses. So the thing is, because they don't really have a lot of profits or any money left over, they're always going to make cupcakes. They don't have any money left over. They can't do anything else. They can't hire people. They can't hire anyone to do marketing or to come in and cook. They've got to do it all because of their pricing and their business model. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's how you want your business to be. But you have a choice. Here's the next scenario. So this person's been to the Baltimore Means Business class, and they decided, you know what, or at least right now, they're just going to stay a one-person shop. That's cool. But look at their pricing. Their pricing allows them, half of their money goes to business expenses. Looks like about half, that green part, that can go into paying themselves, profit. It could go into savings, investments, whatever they want. trips to the beach. And that, and depending on what they're selling and what they're selling it for, that could be a small consulting firm. It's a one-person shop. They may bring home $100,000, $200,000, and they keep most of it. So it just really depends on the business model you choose. And there's nothing wrong with this either. This person is happy. This gives them the revenue goal. This allows them to make the money they want to make. Fine. Your choice. So here's scenario 3. Now look at this. And also notice scenario 1 and 2, they're fully into the day-to-day operations of their business. They're below this red line. So there is no thinking, strategizing, whatever. They're just making it happen, doing it all. So in scenario 3, you notice here, you're coming out a little bit. You've got, you're halfway in the business day to day, right? But you're out of the day to day of the business, and you're thinking, you're strategizing, you're planning. And so, but you're still doing some of the work. So some of the money you make, you get to keep, but the rest goes into business expenses because you're in the business. You're making cupcakes like everybody else. And then you've got some other people though, and they're making cupcakes too, or maybe they're delivering, or maybe they're doing marketing, but their efforts generate a profit. And what you have to really think about is make sure that your pricing allows you. So let's say at $3.49 in scenario 1, that allows you just to stay open. Let's say $3.49 per cupcake. And this is just an arbitrary number. This is not, I didn't do a cash flow projections on this or anything like that. This is just for the sake of us talking. Let's say your cupcake at $3.49 each, you just stay open and you're the only person working. Maybe at $3.59, you start to make a little profit. Maybe at $3.69, that allows you to hire somebody to do your marketing, someone to actually come in and cook sometimes, and maybe someone to help you so that, help you with some of the administrative work, but they're still doing they're fully engaged in the day-to-day things that make money for the business. And you are too, but you've made some time to think about strategy and getting access to capital and other things you need to do to really grow your business, getting contracts, etc. But that's $3.69 a cupcake. Then let's say $3.79 a cupcake. Let's say better yet, $3.89 a cupcake, right? That's you're mostly out of the day-to-day. You rarely make cupcakes. Only if somebody's sick or you've got a big order, you may make some cupcakes. And then look at this circle right here, this first team member, they're more of a business expense than a money-making part of your business. Maybe they're doing more administrative work now. See, because that higher price cupcake allows you to have that. And then the rest of the folks, they're cooking cupcakes and baking cupcakes and doing, and maybe everybody does that. So, but this model is at, let's say $3.89 a cupcake. And then, but this model over here, scenario 5, let's say this is at $3.99 a cupcake, where you're fully out of the business, out of the day-to-day. You're obviously the boss, you're making things happen, but you're looking at contracts, you're trying to get more capital, you're hiring, you're interviewing people, you're doing what needs to be done to grow the company. You're focused. You don't even have to come in the store all the time. But then you've got maybe one person that's administrative. Maybe they're keeping your books, they're doing marketing, whatever. They're not so much in the day-to-day. They're not making money for the business. They're just really making sure they're more like an expense, but a very important part of the business that makes sure that everything runs right. But then the rest of your team, you're making money off of, let's say, the money that's involved, you're getting like maybe 10%. For every hour that they make, let's say if you pay them $10, then maybe you make $1 off for every hour that they work. And so, but that allows you to make the money that you need. So let's say all these different, except for scenario 1, let's say scenario 2, 3, 4, and 5, your revenue goal is, let's say, $90,000 to $100,000, which is these could all be making the same amount of money. It's just the choice in lifestyle. So let's say if you're by yourself, you work every day. Thing is, if you get sick, that money doesn't come in, but you keep most of it. So you can keep $90,000, $100,000, depending on what you do. Scenario here, maybe because you're halfway in, halfway out, and you've got 3 other people, maybe everybody makes about $25,000 in profit for the business. And that goes to you. Maybe here, you've got, let's say 4 other people. Maybe it's like maybe you're doing a little less. So maybe like these folks are bringing in like 75,000, like 25 a piece. And maybe this person's bringing in like 10 or so or 15 and you're bringing in 15, whatever. And then maybe scenario 5, you're not really necessarily bringing in money, you're bringing in contracts, but your direct efforts don't necessarily cause profit, but maybe $10,000 to $15,000 per person they make after expenses goes into the business. So you're still seeing, let's say, $90,000 to $100,000 in profit. It just depends on the model that you set up. Also, it's very important to understand that obviously you just can't, let's say, oh, I'm going to just go here to scenario 5 because you need money to do that, and or a lot of time. So, and this is something I said to someone on their one-on-one call today. The main difference is between people who have access to capital and people that don't. People who have access to capital can go right to scenario 5 a lot faster. They have money to make mistakes. They have money to hire people. So they can on day 1 be the boss, right? Not have to get their hands dirty. They just start hiring people to do the work. Now, you may not have access to capital like that. And of course, your cash flow projections, so you know how much this would cost in expenses. I've shown you how to do that. So why is this important? This allows, what I wanted you to show you is that you have control over the business model that you choose for your business. Now, you may not have access to capital to get there, but your cash flow projections can help you get the access to capital to jump to the level and size of the business that you need to get to. So a lot of people don't understand that. See, if you have a plan, you can talk to a lender and say, look, if I can get here, I don't have to be in the day-to-day, and it won't, and without capital, it'll take me about 5 years to build up enough money in savings in order to get to scenario 5. But if you give me, or you loan me, or, this 50 or 60 or $100,000, this allows me to cover expenses for the first few months. And so I can start getting enough clients in. So then I can start paying you back, and I'll have enough money from customers coming in so I can pay my team and still have profit left over for myself, like scenario 5, okay? So let me check in with you guys and make sure this makes sense. All right, let's go. I saw some questions come in. Let's see here. Here we go. Chat. Okay, so Doctor wrote to me, which scenario is best or most profitable? The thing is, there's no rules. It really depends on your business model. So you choose. Like for some, they don't want the hassle of trying to manage 9 people. Or, okay, like for me, for example, I'm like more like kind of cross between scenario 4 and 5, where I still do work, but most of my team that's really where most of the money comes from. They are on contracts and they're working all the time. I have one person that really runs the administrative parts of my business. But then I've got like about 14 consultants that I get money off every single hour they work. But I still do, like I'm talking to you. I still do work in my business. But it mostly looks like this for me, for the most part. So this is what I prefer. Like, I really don't want to be in the day-to-day like this person. I was this person 10 years ago, and it was hard. I didn't have any time to do anything fun. So, and I couldn't live my life. This 4 and 5, I'm able to live my life. But I have to bring in a lot more work. I have to keep them busy. It's a lot more, I wouldn't say it's a lot more stress, but it's a lot more I have to do to keep the people busy so I can make money off each of them. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And the thing is,
I do have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So in these scenarios, when the revenue comes in or the profit comes in, is that including salary for you? Is that included in your profit in the green? Is the salary included in there, or how does that work?
Oh, that was a great segue right there. Here's what I want to show you. Okay, so I'm just going to slide. I'm going to make this small again and explain this to you. I think I'm going to answer your question. All right. So initially, it really depends on how your business is set up. For example, so let's say if with cupcakes again, I may say that at this point in my business, I don't want to take a salary. There's just not, like, I don't have enough cushion. I maybe want to put that into savings, okay? And let's say I've got, let's say I live above my shop. So maybe my personal expenses aren't that high. I can maybe pay myself, $1,000 a month or something. Not the full, let's say 8 or 10 or 20,000 a month or whatever I may want to get to. So depending on my business model, how things are set up at this moment, I may decide, you know what, for my cupcake, I know that, let's say down here in the cupcake, that half of the expenses, half of the money for this $3.49 per cupcake, that's to cover the expenses of making cupcakes for that month, okay? Then on top of that, I know I've got to I can't just spend that other half of that $3.49 per cupcake because I have to put that into next month's cupcakes, okay? And so, but at $3.49, there is no money for profit. There is no money for savings. There is no money for investments. There is no money for retirement. There is no money for my salary. And that's where a lot of people are, okay? And profit and your salary are two different things. So, imagine if you work for somebody, right? Their profit and your salary are two different things, right? If you want to be an employee of your own business, what you pay yourself is different than the profit of the business. That's what's left over after everything is paid. Okay, that's what you can do whatever you want with that. So you have to plan it out really back once again to your cash flow projections on at what point can you start to pay yourself a salary, or at what point can you start to take more money like in a draw or take more money to cover certain things. And that's really what I really want to impress upon you is that cash flow projections is really the key to all of this, because you can decide, okay, you know what? I can't maybe jump from $3.49 to $3.99, nor do I need to, but maybe I can go to $3.59 next month. And that will allow me to start to put some, a little bit of money away for savings. Or maybe you decide what that extra money is. You say it's savings. You can say it's profit that you don't really, touch. You can say that it's for your salary. Hey, I'm going to start to actually pay myself now. Maybe you've got a personal expense. Maybe you put your kid in school or something. You can decide whatever you want to do with that money that's left over after you pay your expenses. Okay? It's really up to you. But the important thing is that you have to understand that just because you have money left over, see, like right now, what happens with a lot of business owners, they make their cupcake and they got some money left over. But it's not profit. They need that money. Like they just can't go and spend it, go to Cabo. They got to use that money to make more cupcakes for tomorrow. So that's not profit. But they see money in the bank and they think, oh, I've got money. I've got profit. Okay? Where it's not. This is money you have to reinvest back in your company to keep it open. And I want you to understand that if you don't have pricing that allows you to have room for these other things, profits, savings, investments, retirement, your salary, and it could be 5 to 6 cents per cupcake. Or, and obviously cupcake is a metaphor for whatever you're selling, right? But if you're not including the pricing, also, if you're not including in your pricing that, let's say $3.99 also allows you to not have to make cupcakes. Maybe that allows you to pay labor. That allows you to not have to do posts anymore on Instagram because it covers marketing. That say 5 cents additional covers marketing. Then you've got your utilities, your rent. If you're like, oh wait a second, I don't have enough money for rent, but I sold some cupcakes, then maybe you're not selling, maybe you're not accounting, your pricing is not right, you're not accounting for these things. You've got to hire people to do to make cupcakes. You got to recruit them and train them. Well, these people they're terrible. They keep quitting. Well, why are they quitting? Maybe you're not training them properly. Or maybe you're training them while you're making cupcakes and you're doing everything else. So, and then of course, paying yourself. I don't think any of us just, wanted to get into this where they just create a job for themselves and they just work all the time and never get to take time off, and never get to have fun, never have any extra money, never have any savings to carry them through when it's slow, because that's going to happen. And what about your retirement? you know, and then you might say, well, Will, you know what, this sounds good, but my customers may not pay $3.99 per cupcake. Well, guess what? Then you don't have a business model. Either A, you don't have a business model that will support the lifestyle that you want to create. You got to make a decision. If you just want to just keep making cupcakes forever by yourself in your shop, or if you want to try and find new customers, or if you want to, who will pay you at the level that you need to be paid so you can have the lifestyle that you want to have and the business that you want to have. Okay, or maybe we'll do some creative marketing. Now your cupcakes are like the Cadillac of cupcakes, or maybe certain people who will pay more will buy your more expensive cupcakes. Maybe $5.99 is the right price for your cupcakes based on the customers that you can attract, and you can make even more money. But it all comes down to understanding that your business model and your pricing are 100% connected. But you get to choose it. Okay, so let me I noticed I just threw a lot on you, and also I'm going to take some questions, and I'm going to change my light bulb because my light just went out. I want to make sure I look nice on camera. So you guys, if you have questions, please, somebody ask a question while I change this light. Right? Keep talking. I can hear you. Ask a question.
Will, I have a question. In slide 5. The business model 5, the person in charge is blue. That means that he's all expenses. But if I'm number 5 and I'm the owner of that business, I'm thinking, I'm building that business. So I'm not just expenses, I'm bringing revenue in a different way, not just going to the kitchen and making cupcakes. So I should be a little bit green, I guess, right? Not all blue there.
No, that's a good point. And I was thinking the same thing because but I think I was really thinking about myself, right? So the difference between like 4 and 5. So like I said, I'm kind of like 4 because I still do work. Like I still actually am involved in making products. Like I'll jump in and build a website. I'll do some coding. I'll jump in and build a CRM. I'll jump in and teach BMD, right? I still do that stuff. So I'm actually doing something with the products that create money, right? Like I'm in there making cupcakes sometimes. Where 5, I don't make any cupcakes. I check in on them and say, hey, how are cupcakes going? I don't even know how to make a cupcake anymore. It's been so long. So that's the difference. And there's no right or wrong way, right? I mean, everybody's gonna jump in from time to time and do something, right? It's very rare that somebody doesn't do anything with their business. But what I'm trying to just really describe with this, it's the cupcake making, it's the being involved, getting your hands dirty, actually doing work that a customer has asked for. That's different than negotiating the deal. That's different than going out and getting the contract and getting the work. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And this is and the beauty of this is you're living 100% off of the efforts of others.